Hi, I'm Ryan. I work for Clevertouch in the education department. Today what I'm going to do is show you how you can use the inbuilt timers on the Clevertouch Impact or Impact Plus floating pen tool in a classroom situation. So as you can see, I have a PowerPoint open on the screen that I've opened using the inbuilt media player. Here I have my floating pen tool. A little tip for you is if you can't find your floating pen tool, just put two fingers about an inch apart anywhere on the screen and the pen tool will magically come back to your fingers. If I tap on the floating pen tool, I'm going to be accessing the countdown timer and the stopwatch in this section here. So I'm just going to navigate to the spanner tool, which is the third icon down from the top. By tapping on there, I have the first icon, which is my spotlight revealer tool. And I'm going to start with the egg timer, which is just to the right of that tool there. So once I tap on my egg timer, you can see I'm presented with a little box. Inside the little box, I have my time, and I can just use the sliders on the screen in order to move around my timer there. So I can very easily set the time that I need to on my screen. Once I'm ready with that, I'm going to hit start. Just before I do, you can see at the bottom of that box, I have a ring when time is up notification, which will just sound a little bell at the end. So if I don't want that to ring, I can deselect that just by tapping on it. When I'm happy with my time that I have, I'm just going to click start and my timer will start counting down. If I want to, I can move my timer around just by putting my finger onto the timer and just moving that around the screen. To the right of the box, I have a little X, which would close my timer completely. But underneath that, I have a four-way arrow. And by tapping on the four-way arrow, that would maximize my timer to a full screen timer. Okay. As you can see in the bottom left-hand corner, I now have the four-way arrow with the arrows pointing in. So by tapping on that, that will just allow me to minimize to my original size. And then if I tap on the background of my PowerPoint presentation, my countdown timer will minimize to a small window at the bottom, which I can then move around with my finger to anywhere I need to on the screen. If I tap on that mini timer, then it will restore it to its original size. The nice thing about this countdown timer is I can also freeze my screen and the timer will continue to run. So if I tap on the floating pen tool here, then just in between the pen and the scissors icon for the snipping tool, I have a magnifying glass with a plus sign in. By tapping on this, this will now freeze my screen, and you can see my screen is frozen because in the top right-hand corner, I have a magnifying glass with a padlock to indicate that my screen is frozen. I can also freeze my screen using the blue button on the remote control for my Impact or my Impact Plus screen. At this point, this is really useful in a classroom situation because as a teacher, if you're displaying content from your laptop or your classroom PC, it means you can display content on the screen and have a timer that's continuing to run, allowing you as a teacher to carry on and use content on your own laptop, whilst the content on your Clevertouch screen would remain static with a countdown timer running. At any point, I can pause or reset my timer if I need to. And if I need to unfreeze my screen, again, I can either use the blue button on my remote control or I can press the small red X on this panel here. I'm just going to close my timer now using the X in the top right-hand corner. And now I'm going to have a look at the stopwatch, which is built into the Clevertouch overlay tools. So by tapping on my pen tool again, and again navigating to my spanner tool, I have my stopwatch in here, and tapping on my stopwatch will produce a stopwatch timer for me. As soon as I start the time, this time will start counting up. And I obviously have, if I need to pause that, I can tap on my pause button, continuing if I need to. And then I also have a little lap timer in there, so that every time I tap on the lap timer, it will count my laps underneath. Okay, just again, pressing the X will close down your tool there. Okay, so that's how to use the built-in countdown timer and stopwatch on the Clevertouch Impact or Impact Plus screen.